Can you tell us more about your job in Lotus Racing?
Okay, my job in Lotus Racing, I'm obviously team manager. He covers all manner of jobs from arranging sort of flights for the team, right through to making sure the fuel's there for race day and the race cars. So it's quite broad. I have a group of 4 or 5 people that support me in this particular job because it's too much for one person. But yeah, we start with when the calendar arrives from the FIA, and the minute we have those dates fixed, then we're basically into it, to the point where we're probably up to Turkey Grand Prix next year already in terms of
preparation.
Yeah, preparation. You can't do all of it, but you can make a good stab at it. So.
How massive is this part in Formula One? Because viewers and fans, they don't really see the logistical point of view. So is this a very huge thing? I assume it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, we've got to get 26,000 kilograms of freight.
26,000.
Yeah, kgs of air freight, that is. Plus we have a 40-foot container on a ship to a given point around the world somewhere on a set day. It's all very well organised through the FOM, but you've still got to make sure you hit your targets. Otherwise, you're going to turn up at some event without everything you need.
So do you usually fly things there or ship things there, or depending on the country, or you just drive?
On the what we call we categorise our races into long haul and European, for obvious reasons. So on the long haul events we send, it's around 26,000 kilograms of air freight, and normally one sea container. So we have 4 sets of sea shipments going around the world. So in January, about the middle of January, we'll start sending off our sea freight for the season, and they arrive at a given destination, and once we've used that sea freight, we'll then reship it after the event to the next possible event in the time frame available. So
whenever you need to use.
Exactly. So for argument's sake, the Australia freight would maybe go to Brazil, or so you can sort of weigh it up on that.
You also handle things like food and where you at each Grand Prix you set up your
That's correct.
your
Yeah.
units at the back.
Yeah, we have we contract a catering company who we basically give total responsibility for looking after our catering services. However, they get managed by me ultimately. We obviously have special food requirements for sort of Muslim-based teams. So, but other than that, it should be a seamless situation with these catering companies. Most of them that we use or other teams use have been doing it for a long time. So it's not a difficult thing to manage, but providing you give them the heads up on the number of guests coming and number of staff personnel, then it's pretty straightforward.
Okay. What about customs and all that? How do you go through that, especially with non-EU countries?
Yeah, we have to use carnets, which is everybody knows what carnets, I think, but it's import-export, temporary import-export document. We contract a lot of, we don't contract, we use, Formula One generally uses a company called DHL, which is probably quite well known worldwide. So they support us in the documentation that we supply, but we have a race team coordinator here who supports me, and he basically puts together the documents and makes sure that they're legally in the right place.
And in terms of trucks, how many trucks do you have? The ones that are with Lotus Racing liveries and all that.
We take to European races 5 trucks for the race team, which carries obviously all the equipment, and then another 3 trucks for the motorhome, for the catering hospitality unit. So in total that's 5.
And the cars, they are placed in the.
Yeah, we have the 2 main trailers that you see behind the garage during a European Grand Prix. 2-story trailers, top floors for offices and workshops, and the lower floor we use for spares and IT. So those 2 particular trailers don't actually carry cars, which sounds crazy, but they're more used for departmentalising, so we have offices and areas to work. And then we have an additional 3 trailers, which carry all the sort of garage setup, the cars and the toolboxes and all that.
Then in terms of freight, air travel, apart from personnel, what do you bring in there?
On long haul flights, it'll be obviously 26,000 kilograms of freight, but on the Europeans we don't carry any freight.
Oh,
it's purely just the personnel.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
And obviously having races outside of Europe is a much harder thing to do.
It is, yeah. It is. There's lots to deal with there. You've got to obviously the distance you've got to deal with. So if you've got parts that are late, or parts that need to come out as development parts, then you've clearly got to factor that into your travel arrangements. So that makes things a bit more difficult. You've got to deal obviously with time frames, because we've got obviously European times, and flying to Asia or Australia or something and back again. You have to deal with sort of the jet lag side of things on both directions, which can become quite tedious. So the Europeans become probably a little bit easier to manage, a little bit easier on the body as well.
Are there situations like, for example, a part breaks on Saturday on qualifying, and you somehow don't have the spare part, and you have to bring the part in by Sunday, by race, by start of the race?
We have done that before. Yeah, we've flown. Just literally contacted someone in the factory here and said, we need these bits bringing up to the circuit. Can you fly up tonight? Bring up Nikki, the travel secretary, and she'll arrange a flight. And then it happens not just in our team. I'm sure it happens in lots of teams.
And I would assume that having back-to-back races, it takes quite a big toll on you.
Yeah.
Do you even get to sleep within those couple of days?
Not really. No. We had two tough ones this year. One was the Monaco-Barcelona, or Barcelona to Monaco, which was probably the toughest one because of the logistics of getting into Monaco itself. Normally at a racetrack you turn up and everybody can be there together setting up, but we can't do that in Monaco because there physically just isn't the room for the trucks to get down on the harbour and unload. So basically they let you come in twos and threes, and generally it'll start at the top end of the pit lane. So the World Championship team and the next two teams would be in first. So that was quite a tough one to get around. And we literally flew out of Barcelona on the Monday morning and were straight back into work Monday afternoon. Then the second one was Brazil to Abu Dhabi, which actually just logistically probably wasn't as tough because of the fact that the circuits were able to cope with all of us together setting up. But the tough one was between those two races. Obviously, compared with Barcelona and Monaco, was the time frame. It was literally gone from, I think it was 3 hours in front of 3 hours behind, so it was a bit hard.
Okay, lastly, in your career as a team manager, what was the worst thing, as in any incident that's anything you can recall, that's like by far the worst thing that could have happened to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think
in terms of this.
I think the hardest thing is family bereavement. We had someone who had to fly home quite urgently through a family illness that led to the person passing away. So that's probably the toughest thing, because you're dealing with human beings and emotions, and I mean the rest of it. If I plan as I should, and I make sure my boxes are ticked and my T's are crossed and I's are dotted before I leave the UK, then there really shouldn't be too many issues. I mean, I can't be held responsible for a volcano blowing up and no flights running, because that's just life. But yeah, I think generally, the human side of things is quite hard to deal with sometimes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
do you have
much.
any questions?